Hello. Da, 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 da. Hi guys. How's everybody doing? These things to this day are my worst nightmare. I just sit and talk to myself. They gotta figure out a way where we can all talk to one. I know you can have stories and people can come in and check in and do all that stuff, but I want to I don't like sitting here talking to myself, staring at myself. It's really my worst nightmare. How's everybody doing? Happy Tuesday. I just want to start while you guys are coming in with my complete gratitude. This experience shooting I do was such a vulnerable process for a lot of different reasons. I'm not a wedding planner. I don't pretend to be. As a matter of fact, I have tremendous amount of respect for people in that profession. It takes a lot. It's a lot of work day to day. But I cared about the people we met, and they were so sweet and so honest and so vulnerable. And you guys have all been so kind with your comments and what you've shared and what you've asked and how it's resonated, which really just kind of makes me feel like we're all desperate for some honest connection and some truth and some vulnerability. And love is the easiest way to that. So I'm really excited and I'm really grateful because none of you guys would know this, but I've always had a tremendous amount of respect for TV, good TV. Because I feel like it can change people's lives and people can meet different types of people and see different stories that they would have never been exposed to had they not been in their room. I remember when the first time I watched Queer Eye when I was a young boy, it was the first time I felt like I had a gay friend because nobody in my life was open and honest and vulnerable and real and gay, although it turns out quite a few were gay. And I think that was really a testament to me. And now fast forward, 10, 15 years later, 20 years later, and I'm working with the same producers and filming a show about love, but being shepherded through three gay men it was just legalized for us, not too long ago. So that's my rant. I just want to thank all of you for being so gracious and open and kind and for all the nice words. It's been really restorative to see people through this lens because I think, with social media, we see all these posts and sometimes it's like, what's wrong with this hair? Which I agree with. The hair is annoying, but it's nice to see a lot of positivity. So you guys wrote in with a lot of your questions. I'm going to try to do my best to answer as much as possible. And I'm going to try not to butcher everybody's names, so I apologize. People keep asking where Nate is. He's somewhere. I'm sure he's gonna come streaming. He just had his hair something done, so it's straight as a board. So he's incorrigible right now. He's a monster. He thinks that he's turned into a 19-year-old surfer. It's my worst nightmare. So anyway, if you see him, give him a hard time. So let's jump in, answer some questions, see what I can share with you guys. Okay, so Jen Conley wrote, what was the best part about filming the show? I think what I just kind of mentioned, it wasn't lost on me that we were three gay men coming into a lot of people's lives who had never been around people like us, or had been, a community very separate than ours. And people were so honest and open and vulnerable and trusted us with their journey that I think that was the most surprising thing. I didn't anticipate for it to be so emotional for us. I mean, I know that I cry a lot, which is fine because I cried twice already today. But I didn't expect to connect to each and every person that we met the way I did. I really care about them. I still do. And I'm still in touch with the majority of them. So that was the best part. Aside from, obviously, Ty and Gabriele, who I adore and have become my brothers that I never wanted. They're good men and they're good people, so that was great. Jen Conley, thank you for applying. You're here. Hi. This is fun. All right. What was my favorite part of... what was the favorite part of your wedding at Synth? Nate was the favorite part of my wedding. And I think for those of you who have probably no perspective around it, the idea that we gay people weren't allowed to be married, 10 years ago, even having a wedding was crazy and unnerving because there's no rules and there was no precedent for me. So we had to really make up a day crafted around who we are, that told our story. And strangely and perfectly, it ended up becoming really about the people in the room that were all a part of us getting to that spot. But I'll never forget the moment walking up to Nate down the aisle, and my mother walked me down the aisle, and I stopped and like gave her one last hug because I kind of felt like I was, walking into this very distinct chapter of my life. So that was a good moment and a good question. If you and Nate were to have a second wedding, what would you do differently? I would never have a second wedding. I love somebody who enjoys a vow renewal. The housewives all love a vow renewal. That is not for me. I love him. We did it. It was perfect. I'm done. That's it. Every day is another wedding with him. Let's see. Most emotional moment of the show from Priyanka. You name it. It's funny. I posted that thing about crying because I make fun of myself too. Love gets me every time. And I felt like, a lot of times you watch TV and people are talking at you, and this show is really about listening to each other, and trying to help out when you can, connecting when you can, being quiet when you can, listening when you can. So that's it. Let's see. What was my favorite part of being on the show? I've kind of touched on that. The people, obviously. It was really hard because I had to actually leave my family for 9 weeks to shoot the show, and I would come back and forth, and production was so kind and amazing about making sure that I got back to be there for my kids as much as possible. It was a 2-hour flight. I remember Larissa, who ran our show, letting me changing the entire schedule so that I could take Poppy to her first day of school. But it was hard, and it was a sacrifice in and of itself to make sure that I was there and present enough for people. So that was a complicated part. But then I would show up, and Ty would be sitting there and say, we're going out to dinner. And, and Gabriele would show up and say something hilarious or talk about shrimps he always adds an S, even though it's not plural. And all that stuff, it mattered. So, yeah. Anyway, what are the timelines? Are the timelines what they are on TV? 100%. That's from Lisa Schultz. Yes. The crazy thing about this show, and I guess I have no other reference because I've never done anything like this before, but you're watching it in real time. Even the sequence of events, the way that the producers, the way that Larissa, our showrunner, did it, it really unfolded in real time the way things happen. And there was a lot of times where things shifted and ideas shifted and processes shifted because it was honest and we were all there for the truth. So that was a really cool thing to be a part of, and you don't have to produce good people, and they were all good people, and it was really nice. So how do you juggle between being a great husband and a dad and have time to be creative? Corinne Becker. Corinne? I'm gonna go with Corinne Becker. The question is, the answer is I'm not really sure. I think I'm still trying to figure it out. At my core, I consider myself a creative, and I definitely, my design work is what makes me thrive and what fuels me. And I always make time for that. Sometimes it's better than others. But as I continue to grow and change, it gets harder and harder. My number one commitment is always to be a husband first and then a father. And I always make sure to show up for the kids. There's not a meal that I miss. There's not a moment where they walk in the room that my face doesn't light up, where I acknowledge them, which I think is the most important thing that any parent can do. Regardless of how tired you are you acknowledging your children's presence, and are you honoring it? I think it goes a long way for children to know that they're seen. And it has for our kids. So that's my only reference. But I'm trying to figure out the time. I really am. If you guys have any advice, I'm open. I don't need a lot of sleep. I have a very rare sleep situation where I need 4 hours of sleep max. As a matter of fact, Ty would always make fun of me, and he would be so worried about me because I would be up running at 4 a.m. and by the time I had seen him, I had been doing all these things. He's like, you don't sleep. So that's how I kind of do it. I get up every morning. I work a lot before the kids are even up. And I try to set the mood for the house. I feel like I'm talking so much, but nobody else is talking, so what are you gonna do? Hi from Germany, hello. Can you speak Spanish? No, I wish. I took 4 years of it in high school, and I don't, but I wish I did. Sylvie asked me to be her baby brother. Sure. I'm more the merrier. I'm ready. You guys are all so nice. Hi, hello. Hey Ava. Hi guys. Ty's on here, so if you guys want to go like harass Ty, you guys should. Just give him a hard time. All right, let's see. Somebody asked where Nate, Poppy, and Oscar with you while you're filming. The answer is no. They weren't, which is the hardest part of it. Especially because I, am obsessed with the kids and obsessed with being a dad and a husband. So that was the most complicated part. But the rest was in the purpose, and I knew that we were doing something important and special, and it wasn't for nothing. So that's what I kept reminding myself. And there's actually this moment, this is an overshare, but I will tell you, there was this moment, not gonna cry in front of you guys, where my husband forced us to watch the show because I hate hearing myself or watching myself. And we watched the show, and my daughter sat next to us, and we watched the whole thing. And she looked at me, and she told me how proud she was and how great it was. And I just remember thinking to myself that this is the example that Nate and I had set out to try and create, not only for our kids, but for our community, for anybody who's listening, which was that we believe in kindness and empathy and joy. And I'm just really grateful that I've gotten to be a part of this experience. I got to do it with two of my dear friends now. I got to meet so many amazing people. Larissa, who ran the show, was like a sister to me. Scout, the production company, are a family that I've known for so long now, and I trust them. I trust them implicitly. So I don't know. That was a really special moment to see our daughter sitting there and absorbing it, and to be proud, and to see all these different types of people getting married, and it all is the same thing. I actually had a girlfriend named Tracy Robbins, who's one of my dearest friends, who told me that she watched it with her daughter, and her daughter was so surprised that it was an issue for people that the two men wanted to get married. What was wrong with them? And I thought, okay, there's the progress that we're all working for, and we're all trying to get. So that was a good part. All right, I'll give you a couple more questions, and then I'm gonna stop talking because I'm tired of my own voice. Do you really give the best hugs? I need one. I would give you a hug if you were here. I don't know if they're the best, but I fully commit to every hug. Waiting eagerly for season 2. We'll see. It's been nice to see the response. I'm just kind of basking in the joy and the kindnesses of everybody from this season. And everybody's notes that they send to me are so kind and so lovely, and it's really nice. Marie wants me to be their dad. Sure, fine. Got plenty of love to give. Have you kept in touch with any of the couples? 100%. Skylar and Randy, the season finale, are like two of the sweetest men I've ever met, and they were so gracious and kind and vulnerable, and there was so much that happened in that week. And everybody, I had Bruce and Essie. I had such beautiful moments with Essie, and I watched her let go of the stigma that other people had placed on her, and her actually start to believe her own strength and in her own ability, and that was really powerful to be a part of. And I was so grateful that she let me be there for it. Did you know Gabe and Ty before the show? I didn't. I didn't know them. I met them and fell in love with them immediately. They were so familiar, and obviously we're stuck with each other now forever. Yvonne asked me, how is she doing with therapy? I don't know. She seems to be doing really well from what I've seen. She's a tough cookie, Essie. My money's always been on her, and it always will be. So sweet. Thank you. Thank you for saying we have a beautiful family. Anyway, guys, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I hope I can articulate this as clearly and as effectively as possible. It means so much to me that people are connecting to the show and that you guys are enjoying it. You know, it is a complicated time, and there is so much hurt and there is so much pain from so many different people. And our family's commitment has always been to trying to make this place a little bit more beautiful than it was when we started. And I'm really grateful that you guys are allowing me the opportunity to do that and to continue to show up. And I promise I will always try to raise the bar. And, you know, whether it's a sofa or a dinner or a post about humanity or a show about love, I'm always trying to do things that are in line with the greater good. And that's because of all of you guys and this lovely community. So thank you. I really appreciate it. We'll continue to do this, even though I hate hearing the sound of my own voice and talking to myself. Maybe next time we'll figure out a way where you guys can video in and I can talk. I gotta figure it out. I can't believe my Wi-Fi lasted this long. Anyway, have a beautiful week. I really appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye.